In the previous video I showed you how to do very simple dot eyes and very simple kind of ping pong ball eyes with dots in, and this is the really easy way to get interaction going between two characters. Although they really are ping pong ball eyes, and how do we kind of make these a little bit more interesting? Well, one thing we can do is for the dots make them a little bit more into slightly kind of ovals. It does actually give a little, and just slightly sort of darker as well. It just does give a little bit more interest, but still they're just staring off into the distance, and that is kind of feels like it's just looking slightly off at an angle. We can maybe get them to look straight at us by having the nose straight on. You can see that these dots, because that's at an angle, the relationship of where the eyes are looking is relative to where the nose is. We can probably do it again with just a straight nose like that, which we've done before. So this is looking straight out of the camera, whereas this is looking slightly out of the camera because the nose is at an angle. Now we can start getting a bit more kind of reality into this, even though it is still a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object, but it's a cartoon. So if we're going to put the eyelids in there, and then we can put the eyeballs in there, and that is going to be the very, very simplest way of doing something. And you'll see lots of cartoons, children's books done with very, very simple things like that. And to make the eyes look in different directions, we draw the eyelids there, and then we'll put the eyeballs there. That's looking sideways and slightly upwards. Let's put some expression in. And we could probably do the same thing but with more of a circle there. And this time actually also I'm going to put I'm going to leave a little white of dot there, just to give a reflection, to make the eyeball just look more alive really. And so this is, you can see it's a little sly, looking slightly upwards. This is looking definitely sideways. We could make this character look up, I think, but we're going to need to hide half of the eyeball. Is going to have to be like that, and maybe we'll do something with the eyebrows there as well to make the character look up. And to make this kind of eye look down, we're going to have to put in the bottom eyelid like that. And again, we can maybe put some eyelids in as well. We can get a bit more adventurous by adding the kind of top of the eyelid like that, and again this time I'm leaving a little bit of white in the eyeball, and that's going to work. And we can put a little bit of shadow. It's really kind of shadow underneath the bottom eyelid rather than the whole lid. And again we can put the eyeball looking the other way like that. And again we could put a bit of shadow underneath. So this is now adding a little more complexity and kind of reality to the face. Maybe now we could start to add some eyelashes. So we're going to put the eyeballs in there again, just like we did before. And it's very tempting just to put lots and lots of eyelashes all over the place, but if you go sideways and kind of flick them out a little bit like that, then that will kind of work a lot better. You get more eyelashes on the outside of the eye than you do on the inside of the eye. And That's going to give us something a little more realistic. But to get even more realistic, we're going to do a curve and a curve, and then a little flick in, flick down like that, and then we can put the eye in, the eyeball should I say, and I suppose the size of the eyeball is all going to be relative. And again, we can put these eyelashes in there, and maybe a bit along there, and then we're going to want to have shadow underneath there too, as well as the shape of the lid above it as well. And now we can put in the mouth, and you can see this is now starting to look just a little bit more realistic. So let's build something up here with the eyelids, and this is the kind of the shape of the eyelid above it, the ball above the eye. And the eye ball, you don't want to see the whole of it. The top of it will be slightly hidden by the eyelid if it's looking straight at you. And here we could put in a pupil, and again this is kind of like a curly chunky letter C, and we can maybe shade in the top there, bring those little lines, flick those little lines in there for the bottom lid, and then these can flick out and get smaller and smaller and shorter as you get near into the middle. And we want again some eyelashes coming down there, and you can dot them at the bottom. And then we're going to want a line below, and want eyelashes, and a simple nose, and we're still working on a slice of lemon for the mouth. And oh, it's a bit wonky, but never mind. We can draw in a face very, very simply. Just a few lines, and there we are. This is a really simple way of doing eyes that look quite realistic, but are still very simple, cartoony type of eyes. Two-dimensional representations of a three-dimensional object. Very simple.